All right, we're back here at Pro Talk Plus, the Winner's Edge, here on Onstage Network and various platforms, Roku, Spotify, various other networks, Apple, also YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook Live. We are doing it live here. It's time to win some money. If you listen to the Red Man, you are going to have an opportunity to reward yourself with some cash flow. This is one of the first online betting shows that has been created since professional sports have embraced online gambling. How you doing, Redman?
Great. Wearing you wet Saturday morning. If you have a basement, check them out. Might be damp like mine. Many falls down there, but hey, we getting it in. But it's not going to stop us from making money this afternoon and tomorrow, because I got some good picks coming up for you.
Well, we got some big-time games this week. A few teams coming off the bye, but the hometown team is in good position to really finish off their season on a really high note. And I know in the back of their minds, the hometown team is looking for home field advantage.
That's right. They need it.
Well, some teams lost last week that were surprising, but for you, you said that Cincinnati's defense had improved tremendously, and they upset the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. So you better listen to the Rad Man when he starts breaking down these games. You ready to go?
Yes, and the other big one from last week, Tennessee. I told people to take Tennessee with the 7 points because Tennessee is always very difficult at home, and they ended up blowing out the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs were never in that game. I hope you took the 7 points like I instructed you last week, the Tennessee Titans. You would be walking around with some money jingling in your pocket, hard, cold cash this week.
Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, Radman, I think the playbook is out on how to defend their one-time unstoppable offense. I think they're suffering from the same ills that affected the Bills of the 90s. Teams learned how to defend the shotgun and the no-huddle offense. At one point, we thought that offense was just unstoppable. But here comes Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl, and he put together a defensive game plan that slows down these great offenses enough, whereas you can win some of these ball games.
That was Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles slowed that one down.
I said the Bills.
You talking about the Bills? Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Belichick sure did, and Todd Bowles did the same thing for Tampa Bay against Kansas City. And everybody's using the blueprint. Andy Reid got to stay up all night trying to figure out, hey, what's the new game plan? How they're going to be able to now the ball is in Andy Reid's court and Eric Bieniemy. They got to come up with some type of system to turn Mahomes loose once again.
And one of their problems, which was a problem even when they won the Super Bowl, their defense is terrible.
It's worse
you used to be able to cover that up by outscoring your opponents, but your defense is god-awful. You have a few playmakers. I think the honeybee has gotten a little older. Some of your playmakers have suffered injuries, and they've lost some people too. What is that? Justin Houston, who was their best pass rusher. They let him go. And this happens in the course, but you got to have guys to replace him.
Absolutely. And that's in the draft. Their draft has not been too well. They haven't upgraded their corners. They still struggling with their secondary. The defensive line is still a problem. Chris Jones came back, and they still having trouble stopping the run. So, yeah, their defense it reminds me of the days back before Alex Smith and a few years before that when they had that high-powered offense with those guys of the early 2000s that I can't think of that running back's name, man. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He came back from a knee surgery, went to Kansas City, and he was unstoppable in that offense. They were throwing him the ball, running with the ball. The guy was
– that wasn't Priest Holmes, was it?
Priest Holmes, that's who I'm thinking. Priest Holmes. Yeah, thank you. I was trying to think of his name for another show the other night. Priest Holmes. Man, that's who this Kansas City team reminds me of. It reminds me of that team that they would win the game. What was it, 51-46? It was all offense. Just take the over every week, and you won you some money with no matter who KC was playing, because it used to be some great games with Priest Holmes and those guys that era. And that's what this team looks like now.
He's in the Hall of Fame for the Chiefs.
He is?
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame for the Chiefs.
He should be, and rightly so, because he was with the Ravens first, and then the Ravens finally got so many backs they let him go, and he just turned out when he got into that offense with the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, he had all kind. Well, he was averaging maybe 100, 200 all-purpose yards almost every week during that magical season for the Chiefs. He did it for at least a couple years with them. Priest Holmes, thank you for getting his name up. Definitely, Priest Holmes, a legend, definitely.
Yep, you ready to go? We got some big games beginning right here in Western New York. The Miami Dolphins come to what's the name of this stadium? Highmark Stadium. It's Highmark Stadium now. They come in on tomorrow. How do you see this game?
I see this one here being interesting. Unfortunately, the NFL has not helped the Miami Dolphins out at all. They have not had their bye week yet, where Buffalo's coming off a bye. The Dolphins are beat up on the offensive line as well as the defensive line. Their secondary, both corners are injured, but they're playing through injuries and they're not playing very well. Buffalo's favored by 14. Take Buffalo. I think Buffalo will definitely run them out the stadium eventually. Tua will be due for a couple of interceptions. Tua is a good quarterback, but he's not a running quarterback. You got to protect him. He can't. He doesn't have that extra speed where he can get away from defenders, and he's fragile too. That's the other problem with him. He's fragile. Miami, get him some high-end receivers, strengthen your offensive line, and I think Tua will be a good quarterback for you guys next season. But right now, take Buffalo. Buffalo cover it, and I think over 51. I think Buffalo, they put 35 up last time. I think they'll probably put up at least 30, and I think this time Tua, they will work some plays where he can get off and get some points on the board for the Dolphins. Take Buffalo over winning by more than 14 and over 51.
Buffalo Bills, hey, coming off a bye too. That's just
that's unfair.
That's a big point that Miami hasn't had their bye. Significant amount of injuries. That's just not a good thing. All right, Atlanta and Carolina.
All right, down in Atlanta, they got the World Series going on down there, and so that's going to be a lot going on tomorrow at the stadium there, and then out in the suburbs for the baseball game later that evening. Carolina. Sam Darnold, he got to do something. He was horrible the last 3 weeks. No reason. That's why the team now is 3 wins and 4 losses after starting 3-0. Atlanta, Matt Ryan is steadily playing well. They're going up against a good Carolina defense. I like Atlanta in this one at home to beat the Carolina Panthers. I think Sam Darnold continues. He got to break out of this slump eventually. But it looked like he don't even really care the way his body language. He don't care that he's playing bad. So I'm going to go with Atlanta, and I think this will be under 44. Under 44, take the Falcons under 44 to cover the spread.
All right, next game up, Philadelphia and Detroit. Detroit has been reeling. They've been in some close games, but have not been able to take it across the finish line. How do you see this game?
Detroit's at home, getting 3 points. Philadelphia, they're not playing very well either. So this should be a very interesting contest if you want to see some sorry football. So hopefully you don't get to see sorry football. But if you do, I like Detroit at home getting the 3. I think Detroit is overdue for a win. They've worked hard. If they continue to work hard and Goff doesn't turn the ball over, I'm taking Detroit with the 3 because Philly, they have a lot of problems on their offensive side of the ball too. Sirianni's trying to do too many things with Jalen Hurts. They're strong defense for Philly. Philly has a very good defense, but they lost Sanders, one of their playmakers on offense last week. I like Detroit getting the 3 and under 47 in this contest.
All right. Hey, next game up could be the game of the week. Tennessee and Indianapolis. This is a big-time matchup, big-time division game. How do you see this?
I think this is the game of the week. Tennessee at Indy. This contest, this series, it seems like the road team seems to win between Tennessee and Indianapolis. The road team seems to take this one. Tennessee goes into Indy. It should be a very high-scoring contest. I like over 52 for the points, and I like Tennessee. And it's a pick'em game. I like Tennessee winning this one with the running game in the third and the fourth quarter. Derrick Henry getting off, and for some reason, once again, do your homework. The road team seems to win this contest 9 times out of 10. So take the Tennessee Titans because they're on the road playing in Indianapolis tomorrow. Titans, pick them over 52.
Titans have been playing well the last few weeks, but Indy has improved too. This could be, as you said, Radman, the game of the week in the NFL, Indy and Tennessee. Next game up, the LA Rams play the hapless Houston Texans.
Woo, they shouldn't even play this game, but good gracious. Somebody, hey, they got to play out the schedule. The Rams, man, they had Detroit last week. Now they get Houston this week. Man, the Rams got a pretty soft schedule too this season. Man,
Yes.
and I think they had the Giants. Yeah, they had the Giants the week before that at the Meadowlands. So, yeah, they got 3 weeks in a row of some cream puff football. And take the Rams. Houston hasn't covered yet. Take Houston to cover by more than 16. I think it'll be under 47. I think it'll be under 47 because Texas won't score much. I think it's some turnovers from Davis Mills is the quarterback again this week. Take the Rams to cover that one, to cover that 16 points and under 47.
Cincinnati and the New York Jets. What another hapless matchup, but Cincinnati's playing well. Jets.
Wow.
Who's quarterbacking, Radman?
Wow, I gotta agree with the fanatic. I see we got some people listening live on to the show and everything, watching us live. Yeah, I agree with the fanatic. There's some horrible teams this year in the NFL. You got some very sorry teams, you got mid-range teams, and you got very few very good teams. With Tampa Bay being the very good at the top of the chart right now. You got some sorry teams. Cincinnati's playing very well. The Jets. Oh my gosh, they got somebody named Mike White. I don't know if he's a salesman or he's selling insurance or something. I don't know. He looked like an insurance salesman out there at quarterback right now. Mike White for the Jets. Jets plus 11 at home. Cincinnati should be able to score. Even if Cincinnati doesn't play their full, turn the ball over. They played an excellent game a week ago. I think they played their best game last week. I think they do for a letdown. I think they'll defeat the Jets. But I'm going to take the Jets in the 11 points because I think for some reason Cincinnati is a team. They're not as good as they were against the Ravens last week. I think they were just ready. They were ready for it. And I think this week they'll be down a little bit. Take the Jets plus the 11. I just got a feeling about this one being a closer game than what this spread looks like. So Jets plus 11 and under 42 points. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lower scoring game this week.
Now, the quarterback situation in the Jets doesn't influence you at far as points?
Mike's. I think it's Mike White. He played a little bit last week. They're going to have him dumping the ball off. You might see Joe Flacco come in there and take over because they just picked up Flacco. He used to be with the Jets, so he knows this offensive scheme. Is he a great player? No, not no more. He's not the Joe Flacco of the Super Bowl era with the Ravens back in 2012, 2013. That's not the same Joe Flacco.
When he was with the Jets, Allen was the coach. This is a different coaching staff, so he doesn't know this offense. Why didn't they sign Cam Newton?
Yeah,
if you want to win,
that's a good point. If you want to win,
Flacco's got a bad back,
right?
The fanatic just said, "I'm like, that's the question. Where's Cam Newton? I mean, if I want to win a game, why haven't you signed Cam Newton?"
Yeah, that's obviously Cam. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there that should be given an opportunity.
Yeah, the only thing Flacco is familiar with this team is the locker room situation. That's about it. I mean, that whole coaching staff got fired. So, that was another situation of bringing in a bad coaching staff with a beat-up quarterback that can't play anymore. And now you're going to bring him back again to get killed. This team is not good.
No, they're not good. They're missing linemen. They have a few people on offense. The defense is rough. If CJ Mosley plays, the Jets will stay in it. If CJ Mosley is still out with the hamstring, Cincinnati will most likely dominate that game and cover that 11 points. This should be an interesting game, but look at the report. If CJ Mosley is out, take Cincinnati to cover the spread. If CJ Mosley is playing, the Jets will have a good chance of covering that 11 points.
Right. Another big-time divisional matchup could be the game of the week also, but these are teams you don't know who's going to show up from week to week. Cleveland and Pittsburgh. I mean, this should be, on paper, it should be a great contest. But you don't know which team is going to show up, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And
Absolutely.
Mayfield has he has a tear in his rotator cuff, but he's trying to play.
That's correct. Torn labrum. I guess he upset that everybody says him and the other quarterback are pretty much the same guys, which they are. They pretty much the same quarterback. Cleveland, they're missing two guys on the offensive line. And keep in mind, Pittsburgh, when Pittsburgh gets points, I like Pittsburgh plus the 3 at Cleveland. Go with Cleveland's defensive front is just as good or better than the Cleveland Browns offensive front. I like Pittsburgh with the 3 points, and I like it under 41. Could be rainy, drizzly. They're on grass, so it should be a good old style smash mouth football game. I like the Steelers pulling the upset, coming out with the win.
Baker Mayfield, this is a question about this game. I question the coach playing him above a quarterback that is very familiar with your offense back in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. I mean, don't you think I would go with him? I thought he's played. I mean, he hasn't played great, but neither is Baker Mayfield. So why are you going with Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, and he's injured, and he's letting everybody know he's injured. I would sit him down and let Case Keenum just ride it out for a few more weeks just to see what Case can do. They won the game last week with him. He's familiar with the offense. He's 11-3 under that offense when he was in Minnesota before he went to Denver and imploded out there when he couldn't do anything else but that offensive system. This system is what Case Keenum is familiar with, and quite frankly, Mighty Oba, he's better at it. He's the best quarterback at that with that offense. So I don't get it. I don't get why they're playing Baker Mayfield. But hey, put that plays into the Steelers' hands, and Mike Tomlin and those Steelers. Nobody not going to ask him else about coaching college. He's going to take it out on the Cleveland Browns tomorrow. Pittsburgh plus 3. Get paid on that game. That's one of my solid locks of the week.
Solid lock of the week, Pittsburgh and Cleveland in Cleveland. All right, the next game up, man, I don't know what the NFL is going to do, but this is another sorry contest. San Francisco and Chicago.
Yikes. Yeah, both of those teams have quarterback issues. Justin Fields is just out there too early. He's not ready. He's another one of those quarterbacks not ready to be on the field. He shouldn't be quarterbacking week after week because they just don't have an offense, and the offense not set up for him. The line is not there. Chicago getting 3 at home. San Francisco is kind of suspect too. With this time, but Khalil Mack is out. He's ruled out with a hamstring injury. Because of that factor, I'm going with San Francisco. Take the 49ers under 37. The San Francisco to win by more than 3. I like San Fran.
Can we point to John Gruden? Some more of his crazy decisions in Oakland or Las Vegas, wherever they are. There's no way I would have let Khalil Mack out of my building. And since he's been in Chicago, he's been injured constantly, and he's a different player in Chicago. In Oakland, he was one of the most dominant players in the league. And, we had the pleasure of meeting him when they came up to Buffalo and they beat the Bills. But he hasn't been the same since he left Oakland or via Las Vegas. Call it what you want.
Yeah, he hasn't been the same since he left Oakland. That was a bad move by that team. An even better move by the Bears taking Nagy as their head coach. Nagy was an assistant coordinator under Andy Reid, and he hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything in Chicago. No. But yet you
all he did was pick up, let's look at the decline before we move forward. Mm-hmm. Nagy replaced the guy from San Francisco that was the offense coordinator. You know which one? I forgot his name. Anybody Fanatic? You remember his name? He was offense coordinator in San Francisco. He didn't last 1 year. Mm-hmm. He sucked. But you fired Lovie Smith, who was 10-6.
Right.
And you were a perennial playoff team, went to the Super Bowl under Lovie Smith.
That's right.
I don't understand that one.
Doesn't make sense at all. Oh, Mark Trestman.
There you go.
I forgot about him. He was only there a year, right? He replaced.
He was prior to Nagy. Nagy's another. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
Mark Trestman was horrible. He was horrible, man. He was
awful.
he was in the Canadian Football League. Talking about they can't wait to get him in the NFL. And when he finally gets a shot, he didn't do anything. He was so bad that he was done in 1 year. He was done in 1 year. Showed you he didn't know how to handle a team, talk to a team. There's a lot more than coaching. You got to run everything and make sure your assistants are doing their job and making overall decisions. Yeah, he was horrible. Yeah, you have Mark Trestman. Oh my goodness, that was a bad move. Nagy's even worse.
Business. Right. Yep. Awful. All right. Let's move forward. We have another interesting game coming up. This one could be a stinker also. Seattle and Jacksonville. Seattle is without Russell Wilson, which is very significant. Now,
Yes.
why can't their backup quarterback show that? I mean, to me, this was his opportunity to show that he's the guy,
Right. And for some reason, he's Geno's doing like he did with the Jets. He's turning the ball over. He's turning the ball over too many times. They're not allowing him to roll out. They're trying to play it safe with the running game. If Geno gonna air it out, let him air it out, because at West Virginia he was airing it out back in his college days. He should be able to get a chance. I like Seattle at home to win this game, but hey, Jacksonville's playing tough. I think Seattle. Well, if Seattle doesn't win this, if Jacksonville defeats Seattle, hey, Pete Carroll, man, I think he's on the hot seat there, man. He might have to retire at the end of this season, because he shows that without the Legion of Doom and without the quality quarterback, you just been masquerading behind the quarterback. You can't coach
mediocrity at best.
Yeah, you coach like he were. Remember him with the Jets? He was horrible with the Jets.
But he
New England. And New England. He gets a third.
This is his third shot in the pros, because he went to USC and got them involved in steroids and whatever.
Yep. All kinds of stuff, women and houses, people being paid and everything. When Pete Carroll was out there, it was on at USC when he was there. So I like Seattle to win this game. Straight up, they'll cover the 4. They'll force Jacksonville into turnovers, and hopefully Ken Norton defense will force the turnovers. Seattle will win. Take under 43. This is a really good under game, under 43, because I think it's going to be a snooze fest there in Seattle. A lot of heavy rain. So take under 43 in the Seattle Seahawks to cover those 4 points.
All right. Our New England Patriots, the Fanatics' favorite team, will take on a reinvigorated LA Chargers after getting blowed out by the Baltimore Ravens. They've had a week to think about it. How do you see it, Radman?
Coming back after a week off, and they got to think about this: the 30-0 shellacking they took by New England last year in LA last season. They were shut out with Anthony Lynn as the head coach. I think that was one of the final nails in the coffin of Anthony Lynn being fired at the end of the season, losing 30-0 to New England. New England getting 4 points at the Chargers. I think the Chargers are a much better team on offense, but their defense is still very suspect. I'm not a Mac Jones fan yet. He's still one-dimensional, but I think New England will run that ball well enough to keep this game close. I think the Chargers will most likely win, but I like New England getting the 4 points. I think New England can keep this game close. And Bill Belichick kind of has a good feel for this team, because this team hasn't changed that much on offense. So I think the New England defense is better than the Chargers offense. So I take New England with the 4. Don't be surprised to see New England win this outright, but New England in 4 under 48.
All right. Hey, this could be a very interesting contest, though these teams have been reeling a little bit. We can say that for the majority of the NFL anyway.
Yeah.
Denver and the professional team in Washington. Man, I don't get what happened to this defense, Radman. I don't know. I mean, did the rest of the league catch up with them or what?
I think so. They don't have the energy on the outside. I don't see that. I think they're going to be able to handle. Denver will be able back at home. They finally playing an opponent they can handle. I think they'll have to move Teddy Bridgewater around a little bit. I see Denver winning this game at home. Washington's offense, Taylor Heinicke's gone back to being Taylor Heinicke. He's turning the ball over. He's making mistakes. I think Von Miller, Chubb, and those new and Surtain, the cornerback and safeties, will be a little too much. I think Denver's defense will also give Washington problems. I like Denver in this one straight up. Denver should cover the 3 points. I don't know what's going on with Washington's defense. They're not playing nowhere near to their potential of last season. Go with Denver and take this game to be under 42 because both teams have trouble scoring. Denver Broncos under 42.
Denver Broncos under 42. How about this one? This could be a game of the week.
Another
New Orleans
one, yes.
and Tampa Bay.
Yes, indeed. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. New Orleans getting the 7. I think Sean Payton's going to have these guys jacked up for this game. I see Tampa Bay pulling it out in the end. Tampa Bay, but I like New Orleans at home getting 7. I think New Orleans defense is a playoff. They are a playoff Super Bowl caliber defense. That now their offense done sunk so far back, they don't have enough wide receivers to keep up in a high scoring game. So I think you give them 7 points at home. They lost to the Giants at home a few weeks ago. I think the Saints want to improve on that and give their home fans a good showing. And Tom Brady's in the house. And Tampa Bay is one of their fierce rivalry games, too. I see New Orleans with the 7 against Tampa Bay. They'll cover. But Tampa most likely will win this because they're just a little too much for the current Saints. And look for that game to be possibly over 54. I like the over in this game, too. I have a feeling both teams.
I don't like how they're using Jameis Winston. I think you're using him in an offensive scheme that doesn't fit his strengths at all, and he has struggled. When Jameis Winston was one of the most productive quarterbacks out there, I think they've more or less emphasized him not making a mistake, and you can't play the game with in the back of your mind thinking, I can't make a mistake. I can't turn the. You got to play.
He's thinking too much.
Yeah.
He's thinking too much. You can tell.
That's why he didn't get the second contract. They used that as an excuse not to give him the second contract. But on the other hand, he had more yards than almost everybody in the league that year. But he was turning the ball over with interceptions. But it just seems that he's in an offense that does not fit his skill set, and that's Sean Payton. Sean Payton, that's on you, buddy. You're in charge of the offense. You're supposed to put players in a position to succeed. What we saw from Jameis Winston so far this year, he's not succeeding.
And they paying the price for keeping Drew Brees too long. Drew Brees should have been gone 2 years ago. Drew Brees should have been gone. They still paying that $20 million this year. That's why they're in cap hell and they can't bring quality players into New Orleans because their salary cap thing. They're right up against the cap. They had to beg and borrow to get Ingram. Devontae Freeman and Latavius Murray both said, no, you're not shortening our contract, giving us less money. No, we're not going to take a pay cut. They both walked right before the start of the season. So both of those guys ended up in Baltimore, ironically, but they had to go find another running back because the young running backs that they had to go with, both of them are hurt. And Kamara is the only thing going for them offensively, and it's a shame to see that team just go from a high-powered offense to a very, very limited offense, very limited. Yeah. But I think the defense will save the day tomorrow. They'll take the 7. New Orleans will keep that game close.
All right. Dallas and Minnesota. We're down there our last 2 minutes.
Upset special. I like Minnesota. Minnesota getting 3 at home. Sunday Night Football. Dak Prescott not 100%. He has a calf injury. If they come with the pressure, which I think Minnesota will come with some blitz packages, I think they'll give Dallas all they can handle. Dallas coming back from a bye week. I just think some of those guys and Kirk Cousins come on, Kirk, you got to show up in one of these big games. So I think he'll show up. Darvin Cook should have a big running game for Minnesota as well. I like Minnesota. 58 is a little too high. I think it'll be under 54. I think under 54, but the Vikings will defeat. That's my upset special of the week. Last game,
Kansas City and the New York Giants. Man, bad
ugly.
Football in this
bad
league.
Football on Monday Night Football is bad too. Wow, the Giants at Kansas City. Take Kansas City. Their defense is horrible, but I think they'll get well enough that they'll put some points on the board against the Giants, and they'll be able to take care of them and move on. So take Kansas City. Mahomes will get a little bit better. The running game will get a little better, and their defense. Hopefully, their defense should be able to stop Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. New York Giants don't have much on offense. So Kansas City to win that by 10 or more, and look for it to be possibly it would be under 51, under 51.
Under 51. Hey, that's all our picks for today on Pro Talk Plus, the winner's edge. You have heard the Rad Man. Hey, if you stick with him, he's going to make you some money. We will see what happens on tomorrow. The Buffalo Bills probably will just truck along there, Rad Man.
That's
some
right.
easy schedules out there. I'm
I
telling
like
you, the
Buffalo.
NFL. What'd you say, Rad Man?
Buffalo, the Buffalo game, take the Bills, Pittsburgh, and Minnesota is my pick 3 for tomorrow. Those are pick 3. I think those are real good money winning opportunities. Those 3 games: Buffalo, the Steelers getting the 3, Buffalo minus the 14, and Minnesota getting 3 points at home. Take those 3, and also Tennessee. I like Tennessee as the 4th one. So I got a good pick 4 going for tomorrow.
All right. Hey, that's all for us here on Pro Talk Plus, the winner's edge here on Onstage Network and on various other platforms. Make sure you check in with us next week as we give you the best picks around. Stick with the Rad Man. He is the winner's edge.
Take care, everybody.